I want to talk through this journey of what Susie and her company and my company have built together, because it really is going to help change a lot of how we're dealing with digital assets. And again, I mentioned it before that everyone here is a content creator, and to be able to store that content in a safe place that you have ownership over it should be a really critical element to how you're thinking about your property. So Susie, explain to me a little bit, because again, a US audience doesn't know too much about what Opera actually is. Talk to us a little bit about just Opera and what you guys are and who your demographic is right now.
Thank you. So Opera Browser is a 25-year-old company based in Oslo. It was the first browser natively embedded in a mobile phone, Nokia and Ericsson. It has a long history of being innovative and nimble and bespoke. Its flagship product is the Red O browser, which is the #1 browser in Africa and Asia, top 3 in Europe. But it didn't quite get traction in the US because it was more Android-based, not Apple. However, with our new launched product, the Web3 browser, it is the first Web3 browser of its kind, meaning that it is multi-blockchain, it's multi-crypto wallet. So under the hood is where all the magic happens, but the normie user won't need to know what's under the hood, which has really been a friction point for getting new users into blockchain and crypto.
So explain to me though, what is a Web3 browser? Why does that change things?
So if you remember the days of Web 1 where you were reading content, Web 2 evolution was writing content. And Web 3 innovation is owning content. So read, write, own is the progression of where this technology is taking us. So this blockchain technology is really flipping the paradigm upside down, where you're no longer one-dimensional or two-dimensional interacting with assets, but it's like going from 2 dimensions to holographic, where you and I can transact peer-to-peer, our own intellectual property, our own content, without going through an intermediary. And we'll dig deeper into this with our next panel. But what I'd like for you to take away is it's a whole brain juggle. We're shaking up this paradigm, and the crypto cypherpunks are really passionate about talking about decentralization and no one point of authority. That's the real DNA of this technology. But for mass adoption, we need to make the UI and UX so user-friendly, where it's almost like an AOL moment, where you're doing a couple clicks and you are through the portal experiencing Web3. And our partnership, which we are launching today, called Launchpad, allows all of you to upload an asset and mint it. That means deploy it to a blockchain. You don't even know what that means. You don't need to. But it means you retain the intellectual property of that. You're not posting it on Instagram or Facebook. But you own that, and you can trade it, sell it, give it away. And one of those artists who are here today, Kristen Simmons, thank you so much. This is her artwork. The swag that you've picked up, her artwork on the back too. So thank you for donating your art and time. But this is experiential. This is like a totally different way of feeling technology and creating for yourself. So play with the tool. We'll launch it real live in the product next month, but we're announcing it today here at BitBasel with Scott and his team.
Yeah. And a a lot of what Alteon has stood for is democratizing the production industry. So if you're a content creator, it doesn't matter if you're a TikTok influencer all the way up to a major broadcast network, Alteon really at its core central is trying to hone in on the fact that we're making a content management system and an ecosystem available to everyone. And as we're starting to witness in the next couple months, you're seeing these layoffs in the news and you're seeing other things happening where people are trying to pull back, and you're gonna see a large group of content creators out there looking for new platforms. And we certainly know that Alteon is the platform that they can jump onto and continue doing their creative work. And what we did with Opera is even easier in the sense of we wanted to create an intro or a launch pad, if you will, to the NFT space. So again, as we were talking about it, it doesn't matter if you know much about blockchain or if you're holding NFTs or in the whole Web3 space. Again, with Opera, we're making it seamless. It's 2 clicks. You can mint an NFT. It's right out there on the blockchain, and then you can share that with other people. So again, it's a very, very interesting endeavor that we've been able to be fortunate to be part of. We did it. And it's absolutely incredible to see the user groups that we've put this in front of and how they click through it and they see how easy it is.
I'm thinking photographers, journalists, poets, artists, fashion designers.
Absolutely, anyone, and even
my
mom.
8-year-old.
And then when we think about Alteon, this is just our start in the Web3 space. We're starting to talk to news organizations about retaining metadata structures on a blockchain. That means that I can say that something was shot here today at this time, at this moment. Francis Suarez was here, and I could actually mint that out to a blockchain, that metadata or all the content that belongs to it. That means that we're going to change the news cycle later on around fake news, right? We've seen this happen in the last couple of years.
Validate the event or your attendance.
Yeah, and because it's on a blockchain, it's solid. It can't be changed. So if I can mint my metadata onto a blockchain as it's occurring, that means now that if I'm a broadcast network, again, if I go to show a news clip and somebody claims that it was a different day or a different person, we know instantly because of the provenance of that file and all of the metadata structure that it actually is in fact fake news in that sense. So we're going to see a huge shift happening. It's happening whether or not we like it or not. But we have to embrace change, as we've heard from the mayor. And I really appreciate everyone's time here today. Susie has a really great panel coming up talking about the community and the normies and intro into Web3.
Thank you to Alteon and the Alteon team.
All right, thank you all.
Great, so stay tuned.